Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again with another story to share with you here today, and this is an absolutely disgusting one. I don't think I've ever actually seen a story quite like this one, so buckle up. It is titled Betrayed by Family, Man's Ex-Wife and Brother, that is right, guys, brother, have a baby and then beg him for money. So before we even jump into this, let's take a moment to unpack what is happening here. This dude has an ex-wife, okay, who decides to go and have a child with his brother after they get divorced. That is just absolutely crazy. And then to top it all off, they then come back to beg him for money, it seems. And on top of that, I believe she also cheated. So let's jump into it. Let's take a look at the synopsis of the story. So after years of being treated as the black sheep, one man found success only to have his family, including his cheating ex-wife, come crawling back for financial help. Betrayed by both his wife and his brother, he faced a devastating divorce and was abandoned by his family. But when his fortunes turned, so did their attitudes, leading to a brutal moral dilemma. Okay, man, this is just so crazy to me, by the way. So not only does the wife screw him over, not only does the brother screw him over, but also his extended family as well. So let's jump into this story, guys. If you have any thoughts or comments to share, maybe something like this has happened to you personally before, whether it be with a wife or a girlfriend or whatever, feel free to leave it down in the comments below. And let's jump into this. So some families operate with an unspoken hierarchy, and for this man, now 29, he had always been on the bottom rung. His brother, 2 years younger, was the undisputed favorite, while he was treated as an outsider. So, apparently the other brother was more important, even when he achieved something significant, like getting into a good university. His parents chose to celebrate his brother instead. Right, so the brother is the favorite child, it seems. When he turned 18, he left home for good, determined to forge a life independent of his family's favoritism. He worked his way through college, taking out loans and balancing multiple jobs, all without a single word of encouragement from his parents. Years passed without contact until his brother reached out, claiming their parents missed him. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. This dude's family, obviously not supportive, doesn't particularly give a damn about him. Which, you know, I believe later in the story, he kind of thinks that he's the bad person. I don't understand this particular attitude, man. You know, if someone is rude to you, they don't care about you, I think it's totally justified to extend the same attitude to them. But maybe that's just me. Let's continue. So after nearly a decade apart, he hesitated but eventually agreed to reconnect. I don't know why. By this time, he had built a stable life, he was married, and was doing well professionally. His brother and parents seemed remorseful about the past, and in a moment of misplaced optimism, he introduced them to his wife. So this dude, he kind of left, did his own thing, became successful, and then what do you know? The family starts to reach out again after he becomes successful. You know, guys, not when he's working on himself, not when he's building himself up or making a career or whatever. And this is actually usually the case for men, to be honest. Right? Nobody really gives a damn about a dude unless he has something going for him. Okay, I think many men kind of learn this early on. You know, you can be as young as 18, okay, and you're going to get traded out by women, by friends and things, oftentimes if you don't provide anything, right? Particularly women, guys. Women are way more brutal about it than men are to one another. But if you're a guy and say you're an 18-year-old dude, you know, you don't have your license for whatever reason or something. You don't have your license. You don't have a car. You've got nothing going for you. You've got no job. Nobody cares about you, really. So obviously, this guy, he becomes successful, and what do you know? The family starts to reach out again. So he says, "I should have known better." It wasn't long before his wife and brother struck up an affair. 6 months into her pregnancy, suspicions grew as his brother became increasingly present. The unsettling way he interacted with her belly and the way she dismissed concerns only fueled his anxiety. Eventually, he checked her phone and uncovered months of texts detailing a plan to leave him for his brother after securing a hefty child support payout. Holy hell. That is absolutely disgusting. Guys, I think that DNA tests should be mandatory on birth. I think that it should be something that is just automatically done, but it should be able to be opted out if someone wants it to. That way, guys, you know, imagine you're having a child, right? You're going to get the DNA test automatically done. And so, you know, you go through the whole pregnancy, the child's there, and then your wife says to you, hey, I don't think we should get the DNA test. That's exactly when you know that you should get that DNA test, right? I think that DNA tests should just become standard at birth, to be honest. I think there are way too many women who are lying about the biological father of the child. Like, guys, it is absolutely concerning the amount of men who are running around currently looking and taking care after kids, looking after children that are not their own, right? Financially, emotionally investing in the children, taking care of them, okay, for kids that are not necessarily their own. If you have any sort of concern, man, about a child being yours, get the test done. If the woman gets all offended about it, good. It just proves that you should have got the test done sooner, if anything, right? The women who get really defensive, oh, you know, guys, if you try to get a DNA test and your woman gets angry at you, like, I don't think there could be a bigger red flag in that scenario, to be honest, right? Or let's just say, for example, the mandatory DNA testing was ever a thing, which it won't be in all likelihood. But if it were, you know, if your girlfriend or wife or whatever tells you that she doesn't want a DNA test, I think that's honestly the time that you need to get one done. So let's continue here. So she wants the child support. She had a kid, it seems, with the brother. Let's continue. His confrontation led to immediate devastation. His wife, backed by his family, confessed to everything but showed no remorse. His parents took her side, dismissing his pain and encouraging him to be happy for them. No, man. Holy hell. Holy. So the family is honestly just as disgusting as the wife, it seems. That is crazy. When she filed for divorce, his family actively helped her, paint him as toxic and controlling. They said, I forced her to quit her job, despite it being her own decision. With his family's testimonies against him, he lost a significant portion of his assets in the settlement, including his car. But the most painful part, the child he had been excited for turned out to be his brother's. I lost my wife and my kid, and this in the same breath. That is absolutely brutal, man. Absolutely brutal. This is the part where you never speak to the family again. You never speak to the woman again. You learn your lesson and you never make the same mistake again. Right? So she had a child with the brother, and then she divorced his ass and then got a bunch of his assets, including his car. Isn't that crazy, guys, that we live in a world where this can even be done in the first place? You know what I mean? Like, this shouldn't even be on the cards for women, to be honest. I don't think nobody should be getting something that they didn't earn in the marriage. If you didn't make the money and pay for X item or thing in the marriage, you should not get it. I'm so sick of hearing these stories, guys, where women will, you know, they'll divorce a guy and then just take his house or his car and things like this. Oh, I mean, this story right here, the woman even cheated. Disgusting. The fact that this even exists is revolting to me. After the brutal divorce, he channeled his anger and heartbreak into work. I drowned myself in work and self-improvement. His focus paid off. 2 weeks ago, he landed a major promotion, doubling his salary. Good man. And securing a high status company car. Feeling proud, he treated himself to dinner and shared the milestone online. Yeah, see, this is the thing, guys. If you're a dude and you start sharing this stuff online, you're going to get those like, hey, stranger messages. You know, you're going to get people wanting to return to your life, whether that be family, quote unquote, friends, quote unquote, soulmates, right? You'll have women start to pop up in your life again. Funny how that works, guys. Really funny how that works. So within days, his mother reached out, come visit, we need to talk. When he ignored her, she bombarded him with calls and even showed up at his office, creating a scene until he promised to visit. Yeah, see, here's the thing. Restraining order, immediately. No thanks. Right? Like, hell no, man. Restraining order the family immediately. This is ridiculous. When he arrived, he found them in a newly upgraded home, courtesy of his alimony payments, but they weren't hosting him for a heartfelt reunion. His father quickly revealed the reason for the invite. His brother had lost his job. Oh no. And with a newborn in the house, money was tight. They saw my promotion and they thought they could squeeze me for more. This guy, man, is so insane for even talking to these people, in my opinion. So insane for even considering the idea of having a conversation with them. I don't know why dudes, you get a lot of men who are like, oh, but they're family, or oh, but she's my ex-wife, or she was my wife. No, sorry. Screw the dude over, and the dude shouldn't be talking to you. That's the way I view it anyway. So the brother lost his job as if the main guy is supposed to care. Okay, the newborn in the house. I love this idea, man, where like women will go out there, completely screw a dude over, have a child, and then apparently it's the original guy's responsibility. Like I just love how things just always end up being the man's responsibility when in no way should they even be the man's responsibility in the first place. Let's continue here. So shocked at their audacity, he left without a word, good man, but his brother was waiting outside. He looked desperate, he recalled. For the first time, the once smug golden child was begging, but instead of an apology, he made excuses, blaming fate for why he had always been better and insisting that it was time to move on. What the hell? I told them to beg on the streets if they needed money. Good man. His family was furious. They called him selfish, childish, and vengeful, but he remained unmoved. What on earth? What on earth is this family? This guy? No. Don't speak to these people ever again. So they bust out all the shaming language for him, naturally, typical. So in a desperate move, his ex-wife reached out, claiming she was being the bigger person by asking for help. When he refused, she threatened to take him back to court for increased alimony. This time, however, he wasn't backing down. Armed with the truth, he gathered evidence, testimonies, and records proving her infidelity. He should have done this the first time, by the way. If this was on the cards the first time, he should have just done this the first time. So he gathered evidence, testimonies, and records proving her infidelity and his family's manipulations. With his lawyer's help, he successfully contested the alimony payments. They took advantage of me once, never again. When the ruling came in his favor, his family's true colors were on full display. They showed up at his home, demanding money. His father accused him of betraying his own blood. His brother, in a fit of anger, even attempted to hit him, but for the first time, none of their words carried weight. They expected me to cave like I always had, but I just stood there and let them scream themselves hoarse. Then I told them to get off my property. Days later, his phone finally fell silent. No more pleading, no more threats. He had cut them out for good. See, here's the thing, guys. I don't care if these people are family. I don't care if they're friends. I don't care if they're ex-wives, ex-girlfriends, whatever. Restraining order these people immediately. They're absolutely disgusting. And I think a lot of guys, they feel indebted to people. You know what I mean? They think that, well, I have a history with X person, whether it be romantic or otherwise. Therefore, I owe them something. Okay, even though they treat you terribly, even though they treat you like a subhuman, even though they treat you as just a wallet or whatever the case may be, dudes still feel indebted to these women, and I don't think that should be the case at all. I think that dudes should develop higher levels of self-respect and not put up with this garbage whatsoever. But guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace.